Chapter 2193. Blue Cloud's entire body was filled with ice-cold killing intent. At the same time, he emitted a scarlet light. Even his palms were the same. Boom! Boom! Blue Cloud blasted out more than a dozen punches at Lu Ming. As he swung his fists, there was a violent lion roar. Lu Ming saw that on each of Blue Cloud's fists, there was a fiery red lion roaring. As Blue Cloud swung his fists, the fiery red lion also pounced. This was a terrifying divine ability that unleashed the power of the two laws that Blue Cloud controlled. Lu Ming waved his palm, erupting with 7 types of laws, and instantly struck out more than a dozen palms. Boom! Boom! Fists and palms collided constantly, erupting with shocking rumbles as energy swept out. However, countless years ago, this place had experienced a great battle between peerless powerhouses. The ground had become extremely hard. The energy from the battle between Lu Ming and Blue Cloud could only leave a shallow mark on the ground. The two attacked at an astonishing speed. The sky was filled with fist and palm shadows. In an instant, they had exchanged more than 100 moves, and lion roars were incessant. Damn it, this guy is even stronger than the legends say. Didn't the legend say that he only grasped 5 types of laws? Blue Cloud roared in his heart. After exchanging more than 100 moves, he could not defeat Lu Ming, which made him a little impatient. Lu Ming's expression was calm. This Blue Cloud was indeed not weaker than the gray-robed youth back then. However, Lu Ming was also much stronger than during the Ten Lands battle. During the Ten Lands battle, facing the gray-robed youth, Lu Ming had to borrow the power of his third bloodline to be able to resist. But now, he did not need the power of his third bloodline to resist. The two continued to exchange hundreds of moves, but it was still difficult to determine a victor. Tear him apart for me! Blue Cloud roared. The fiery red light on his body became even stronger. He waved his hands, and the fiery red lions in his hands merged into one, transforming into a huge red lion that pounced at Lu Ming. The power of this move was much stronger than before. This was Blue Cloud's ultimate move. It was his trump card, and its power was astonishing. Hammer of Chaos. Lu Ming used his self-created divine ability, the Hammer of Primal Chaos. During this period of time, Lu Ming had not stopped exploring the Hammer of Chaos and the Sword of Death. The power of these two mystiques was getting stronger and stronger. In particular, Lu Ming had fused the Alchemy Dao Law and the Tools Dao Law into it. The Law of Primal Chaos and the other 5 laws of the King Dao fused together in a miraculous manner, exploding out at the same time. A huge hammer was formed and smashed towards Blue Cloud. Boom! The Hammer of Primordial Chaos collided with the gigantic red lion, causing the space to explode continuously. Terrifying energy swept out in all directions. The two of them were locked in a stalemate in the air as they continued to fight. In the end, the red lion and the Hammer of Primal Chaos exploded at the same time. The two of them trembled and retreated. How is this possible? Blue Cloud roared in his heart. With his strength, he was actually unable to take down Lu Ming. This made him extremely shocked and furious. Kill! He roared. An even more intense red light spread out from his body. His glabella shone and a huge seal was about to appear. As soon as this huge seal appeared, a shocking lion roar was heard, causing the void to explode continuously. Its power was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He could feel that this was a terrifying emperor weapon. It was at least a true emperor weapon. Lu Ming did not hesitate at all. His third bloodline appeared. He borrowed the power of his third bloodline to increase his strength greatly. Boom! Lu Ming took a step forward and rushed towards Blue Cloud like lightning. The Hammer of Primal Chaos smashed out. Blue Cloud did not expect Lu Ming's strength to suddenly increase. In a hurry, he hurriedly blocked, but how could he block it? After being hit by the Hammer of Primal Chaos, Blue Cloud screamed and flew out, vomiting a large mouthful of blood. Kill! Lu Ming was very decisive. After injuring Blue Cloud with one move, he immediately rushed over to kill Blue Cloud. "Lu Ming, I'll kill you sooner or later." Blue Cloud roared and spat out a mouthful of blood. Then, a fiery red jade token appeared in his hand and he crushed it. Roar! After the jade tablet was crushed, a huge fiery red lion appeared. This lion even had a pair of wings. It grabbed Lan Yun and with a flap of its wings, its body soared into the sky and flew into the distance at an astonishing speed. Lu Ming chased after it, but after a while, he realized that he could not catch up at all. The other party flew further and further away and finally disappeared from his sight. What a pity! Lu Ming sighed. Blue Cloud was definitely a disciple of a major force in the heaven realm. He had many treasures on him. That jade token was used to save his life. Lu Ming went back and put away Lan Songshi's storage ring. Then, his figure flashed and he left this place. After that, Lu Ming carefully traveled through this area alone. He encountered two imprints a few times. Among them, there were imprints of foreign races and experts from the heaven realm. Other than that, he found nothing. The key was that in this battlefield, Lu Ming could not tell the direction. He did not know which side was the exit and how to get out. He could only walk around randomly. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes moved. A sound came from ahead. In this land, there was no other sound other than the sound of the wind. But now, there were other noises. This meant that there was a situation ahead. Immediately, Lu Ming used the divine breathing technique to restrain his aura to the extreme. Then, he landed on the ground and walked along the ground. After 100 miles, Lu Ming hid on a low mountain peak. Using the rocks as cover, Lu Ming looked ahead. In front of him, there was a flat land. There were burly figures. Evil God Tribe. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. There were a total of more than 10 Evil God Tribe members. However, these Evil God Tribe members were different from the Evil God Tribe members that Lu Ming had seen before. These Evil God Tribe members were also covered in scales. However, in the past, the scales on the Evil God Tribe members that Lu Ming had encountered were all black. However, the scales on these Evil God Tribe members were purple. Moreover, they were slightly smaller than the Evil God Tribe members that Lu Ming had encountered before. However, they were indeed members of the Evil God Tribe. Each of them had a third eye between their brows. More than 10 purple-scaled Evil God Tribe members surrounded an area. Their figures flashed continuously as if they were setting up something. That is, Lu Ming looked around again and discovered that the one surrounded by more than 10 Evil God Tribe members was a skeleton. This skeleton held a big bow in its hand. Obviously, the Evil God Tribe members were here for this big bow. However, they did not dare to get too close. These guys seemed to be setting up some kind of formation. Lu Ming observed carefully and discovered that the Evil God Tribe members should be setting up a formation. After a while, the Evil God Tribe members stopped and retreated in a flash. Activate the formation. One of the Evil God Tribe members shouted. Then, purple light spread out from the bodies of the Evil God Tribe members and sank into the ground. The ground shone, and streams of jet black light shone out. Then, these jet black lights condensed into large words. Chapter 2194. The formation set up by the Evil God Tribe condensed many large, black, ancient words. The moment these words appeared, they flew toward the large bow. They shone brightly and suppressed it. However, at this moment, the large bow emitted a beam of light. It was like a light shield that enveloped the bow. Those large words were blocked by the light shield. More than 10 members of the Evil God Tribe exuded an even more intense purple glow that surged into the ground. The prowess of the great formation grew stronger, emitting black light continuously. Many large black characters appeared continuously, rushing toward the great bow. However, even though the light barrier around the big bow was trembling non-stop, it was still not broken. This large bow still has its spirituality. It is definitely a supreme divine bow. Lu Ming thought to himself. A fiery look flashed in his eyes. After a while, it was still ineffective. It did not break the light shield around the large bow. Our formation is set up too far away from the large bow. We can't fully unleash the power of the formation. We have to get closer and set up the formation near the large bow. Only then can we eliminate the killing intent on this large bow. An evil god tribe member said. That's right. This is a treasure left behind from ancient times. After so many years, its spirituality has not completely disappeared. It is definitely a treasure. We can't miss it. Let's do it. Another evil god tribe member also spoke. Then, the 10 odd evil god tribe members carefully approached the large bow. When they were within 1,000 meters of the large bow, they started to set up the formation again. Buzz! Just then, the large bow let out a buzz and emitted a bright light. Then, a beam of light shot out from the large bow like an arrow. Poochie! An evil god tribe member did not have the slightest ability to resist. The arrow pierced through his head and he died. Increase the speed! An evil god tribe member shouted. The purple light on the bodies of the 10 odd evil god tribe members became increasingly intense. They increased their speed to set up the formation. Beams of light entered the ground. Swoosh! At this moment, the large bow vibrated again. Another arrow shot out and killed another evil god tribe member. The remaining evil god tribe members were terrified. However, at this point, they could not retreat. They could only grit their teeth and continue. They increased their speed to set up the formation. Swoosh! Swoosh! In the process of setting up the formation, the great bows vibrated incessantly. Arrows shot out one after another, killing the members of the evil god tribe one after another. What terrifying power! This killing intent hasn't dissipated yet. Lu Ming's expression was somewhat solemn. He could tell that there was a trace of the bow's owner's killing intent in it. Any living creature that approached the bow would be mercilessly shot to death. This was also the reason why Blue Cloud and the others had asked Lu Ming to lead the way. If the broken sword from before still had spirituality, it would be extremely dangerous. As for these evil god tribe members, it was clear that they wanted to set up a great formation to erase the killing intent on the great bow. In just a short moment, 8 members of the evil god tribe died to the bow. And now, there were still 9 members of the evil god tribe left. Success! Retreat! A member of the evil god race roared. Whoosh! Whoosh! The remaining 9 people retreated frantically. But at this moment, the great bow vibrated and another arrow shot out, shooting towards one of the evil god tribe members. No, that member of the evil god tribe roared in despair, filled with unwillingness. They had already succeeded and retreated. But at the last moment, the arrow shot out at him. Pooh! Without any suspense, this member of the evil god tribe was killed, leaving only 8 members of the evil god tribe. The remaining 8 people retreated at an astonishing speed. When they retreated to a certain distance, the great bow stopped emitting light and quieted down. The 8 members of the evil god tribe revealed expressions of lingering fear. If they had been unlucky, they would have already died. Let's begin. The 8 of them exchanged glances and then started to activate the Great Formation. This time, the inner and outer layers of the Great Formation were activated together, forming many ancient and profound characters that flew toward the Great Bow. Lu Ming reckoned that this Great Formation should be one that all members of the evil god tribe had. The ancient characters flew toward the Great Bow. The Great Bow shone, and a layer of light enveloped it. But this time, the prowess of the ancient characters was clearly much stronger than before. The large characters shone like weapons, pressing down on the light barrier. Boom! Boom! The light barrier trembled incessantly, creating layers of ripples as if it would shatter at any moment. A few minutes later, the light barrier indeed could not withstand it. Like a bubble, it burst with a "pew" sound. Those large characters rushed toward the Great Bow, covering it. Buzz! At this moment, the great bow vibrated, emitting terrifying killing intent that permeated the surroundings. Those large characters covering the great bow crumbled one by one. However, more large characters would soon cover it. Every time the large characters crumbled, the killing intent on the great bow would dim a little and weaken a little. This was using the power of the Great Formation to grind away the killing intent on the great bow. As time passed, the killing intent on the great bow became weaker and weaker. Half an hour later, the killing intent on the great bow had completely disappeared. We succeeded, ha! One of the members of the evil god tribe laughed loudly. The other members of the evil god tribe also revealed looks of joy. They stepped forward and approached the great bow. The great bow did not react at all. In the end, they approached the great bow. One of the members of the evil god tribe stepped forward and grabbed the great bow. Buzz! That member of the evil god tribe held the great bow in his hand and tried to pull the bowstring. However, after pulling for a long time, the great bow did not react at all. As expected of a supreme treasure. With our cultivation, we can't pull it open at all. That member of the evil god tribe laughed loudly, becoming even more excited. If they brought such a precious treasure back and handed it over, they would definitely receive generous rewards. Let me see. Another member of the evil god tribe was very curious. He took the great bow and tried to pull it open, but it did not work either. In the distance, Lu Ming's eyes were filled with killing intent. 3 4-star Void Emperors and 5 3-star Void Emperors. Lu Ming muttered. Earlier, these members of the evil god tribe were controlling the Great Formation. Lu Ming already knew the strength of these members of the evil god tribe. Originally, there were 2 5-star Void Emperors among these members of the evil god tribe. However, they were too unlucky and were killed by the great bow. The strongest remaining was only a 4-star Void Emperor. Lu Ming decided to make a move and kill these members of the evil god tribe to snatch the great bow. Whoosh! Lu Ming soared into the sky and approached the area where the evil god tribe was. Lu Ming executed the divine aura art and did not release any aura at all. The other party did not sense anything at all. They just stood there and looked at the great bow. Now is the time. With a thought, Lu Ming swooped down like a bolt of lightning, killing his way down. As he swooped down, Lu Ming condensed a battle sword in his hand. This was a magic skill, the Sword of Death. Not good, there's someone. The members of the evil god tribe also discovered Lu Ming. They all roared, and purple light spread out from their bodies. Kill! Chapter 2195. Lu Ming slashed at a 4-star Void Emperor from the evil god tribe. At the critical moment, the third eye of the evil god tribe member lit up. A purple beam of light shot out and pierced towards Lu Ming. At the same time, his body shone with purple light. A giant axe appeared in his hand and he slashed upwards. Boom! Lu Ming slashed downwards. The Sword of Death hit the purple beam of light from the third eye of the evil god tribe member. The Sword of Death vibrated. The death laws and the 5 types of laws vibrated continuously, forming a terrifying cutting force. It directly slashed the beam of light and continued to slash downwards. Then, the Sword of Death collided with the giant axe. With a violent boom, the Sword of Death vibrated. However, the giant axe vibrated even more violently. In the end, it directly exploded, turning into fragments that flew everywhere. Many fragments bombarded the body of the evil god tribe member. Bam! The body of the evil god tribe member flew out. Wounds appeared on his body and blood flowed out. However, he did not die. What powerful strength! Lu Ming's gaze sharpened. This evil god tribe member was only a 4-star Void Emperor. With Lu Ming's current battle strength, he could instantly kill an ordinary 4-star Void Emperor when he used the Sword of Death. Even a 4-star Void Emperor would be severely injured in one move. However, just now, Lu Ming did not kill the evil god tribe member in a surprise attack. He only severely injured the evil god tribe member. The battle strength of this evil god tribe member was beyond Lu Ming's imagination. He is not weaker than Lan Songshi from before. A thought flashed across Lu Ming's mind. Lan Songshi was also a 4-star Void Emperor. However, his battle strength was far stronger than the 4-star Void Emperors that Lu Ming had encountered before. This is the battlefield of the two worlds. These people are all from the military camps of the two worlds. They have been fighting on the battlefield all year round. Their battle strength is stronger than those of the same level. Lu Ming pondered and came to this conclusion. Of course, Lu Ming only had these thoughts for an instant. He did not stop at all and continued to attack the injured evil god tribe member. However, at this moment, the other members of the evil god tribe had already reacted. Beams of terrifying purple light pierced towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming could only stop blocking and brandish the sword of death to block these purple beams of light. He discovered that the power of these purple light beams was also very shocking. The battle prowess of each member of the evil god tribe was stronger than the black-scaled evil god tribe that Lu Ming had encountered in the past. These were definitely the elites of the evil god race. Kill! Lu Ming broke through several purple light beams and charged towards a 3-star Void Emperor. Even if he could not instantly kill a 4-star Void Emperor, he should be able to instantly kill a 3-star Void Emperor. Stop him! Among the 8 members of the evil god tribe, there were a total of 3 4-star Void Emperors. Previously, one of them had been severely injured by Lu Ming, so there were still 2 more. Right now, these 2 people from the evil god tribe acted as the main force and launched a barrage of attacks at Lu Ming. As for the other 3-star Foe Emperor evil god tribe members, they attacked Lu Ming from the periphery. Lu Ming did not dare to be careless and focused his attention to block. Although he could instantly kill a 3-star Void Emperor, it did not mean that he could ignore the attacks of a 3-star Void Emperor. Moreover, the attack power of these 3-star Void Emperors was very terrifying. If Lu Ming was hit, he would also be injured. Human race ant, how dare you sneak attack me? Kill! That member of the evil god tribe that was attacked by Lu Ming also charged back. Lu Ming was surrounded by the 8 members of the evil god tribe. For a moment, he could only protect himself and could not kill the enemy at all. I underestimated the enemy. Lu Ming sighed inwardly. Back in the primordial realm, he could instantly kill a 4-star Void Emperor. In addition, his strength had increased recently. Therefore, he did not take the 4-star Void Emperors seriously before, unless they were top prodigies like Blue Cloud. Therefore, he attacked and directly charged out. Now, he understood that he had underestimated others. This was the 2-realm battlefield. Those who could participate in the battle here were all elites and did not lack experts. Looks like I can only borrow the power of the 3rd bloodline. Lu Ming's heart stirred. Immediately, a wave of power from the 3rd bloodline surged into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming did not dare to borrow too much power. The 3rd bloodline was too strange. If he borrowed too much, his mind would be affected. But even so, Lu Ming's power increased greatly. Kill! The 3rd bloodline contained a strong killing intent. Lu Ming shouted loudly, and a cold killing intent erupted. All the members of the evil god tribe could not help but shiver. How could Lu Ming miss such a good opportunity? He took a step forward, and the sword of death slashed toward the member of the evil god tribe that he had severely injured previously. Poof! This time, this member of the evil god tribe could no longer resist and was directly slashed into 2 by Lu Ming's sword. Immediately after, Lu Ming's battle sword swept out and killed a 3-star Void Emperor realm member of the evil god tribe. Kill! After killing 2 people in a row, Lu Ming charged toward a 4-star Void Emperor. That 4-star Void Emperor roared and used his trump card to block. But after the battle sword slashed past, all of his attacks collapsed. His entire person flew out and fell heavily to the ground, unable to move. Although he did not die, he did not have the strength to fight anymore. As the number of the other party decreased, Lu Ming's strength increased. With this, Lu Ming became even more invincible. Poof! Poof! Another 2 sword slashes, and another 2 3-star Void Emperors were killed. In a few breaths, only 3 of the 8 of them were left. The remaining 3 were finally afraid and turned to run. How could Lu Ming let them escape? His figure flashed, and he chased after them. With 1 sword slash, he killed the remaining 2 3-star Void Emperors. Only the last 4-star Void Emperor was left, and he had already fled some distance away. Lu Ming chased over at extreme speed. After 10 miles, Lu Ming caught up with the other party. "Let's die together." Seeing that he could not escape, the evil god tribe member roared. His third eye burst out with a resplendent light like a small purple sun. Swoosh! A purple light beam with extremely shocking power pierced toward Lu Ming. After shooting out this light beam, the aura of the evil god tribe member immediately withered. Lu Ming's hair stood on end. This light beam gave him a dangerous feeling. Slash! Lu Ming unleashed his full strength and slashed down. Dong! With a loud tremor, the sword of death in Lu Ming's hand actually exploded. Lu Ming's figure retreated quickly, feeling that his palm was a little numb. What a strong power! The power of the other party's desperate attack was really shocking. At this moment, he had borrowed the power of his third bloodline, but the sword of death was still scattered by the other party. Seeing that his desperate attack still did not kill Lu Ming, the evil god tribe member revealed a look of despair. "Ants of the human race, my race will trample all of you sooner or later. We will kill all of you lowly ants and not leave a single one alive." The evil god tribe member roared. "In the future, the ones who will be destroyed will be you." Lu Ming's gaze was cold. The sword of death condensed once again and slashed out, killing the other party. After keeping the other party's storage bracelet, Lu Ming charged back and killed the heavily injured evil god tribe member. Lu Ming would not show any mercy to the evil god tribe. He would kill as many as he could. The evil god tribe was bent on breaking through the heaven realm and primordial realm. At that time, the people would be plunged into misery and suffering. Chapter 2196. At this point, all 8 members of the evil god tribe had been killed by Lu Ming. With a thought, Lu Ming put away the power of the third bloodline. What exactly is this third bloodline? Lu Ming couldn't help but wonder. This wasn't the first time he had thought about this question. The third bloodline seemed to be very mysterious. It had boundless power and endless killing intent. He didn't dare to borrow too much of its power. This power wasn't something he could control. Moreover, as his cultivation increased, his fear of the third bloodline became stronger. This was because no matter how much his strength increased, he was like an ant in front of the power of the third bloodline. Forget it. As long as my strength can continue to increase, I will be able to use this power for myself. Lu Ming shook his head. Then, he put away all the storage bracelets of the evil god tribe, including those that had been killed by the Bao. These were all martial emperors. To Lu Ming, this was another bountiful harvest. Then, Lu Ming started to search through the storage bracelets one by one. Found it. Not long after, Lu Ming revealed a look of joy. A large bow appeared in his hand. It was the large bow that the evil god tribe had obtained previously. The large bow was 1.5 meters long. It was made of an unknown material and was extremely heavy. The surface of the large bow was covered in rust. Let's give it a try. Lu Ming grabbed the bow with one hand and pulled the bowstring with the other. Then, he pulled with all his might. It didn't move at all. The large bow didn't move at all. The bowstring didn't curve at all. With my current strength, I can't pull it at all. No wonder those members of the evil god tribe didn't move it either. Lu Ming was secretly shocked. This large bow was really extraordinary. It was definitely a supreme treasure. Even after so many years, it still retained its spirituality. This showed how extraordinary it was. Let's give it another try. Lu Ming was unwilling to give up. This time, Lu Ming erupted with all his power of laws. Buzz! This time, the bow vibrated slightly. At the same time, Lu Ming felt the bowstring being pulled. Although it was only a little bit, it was indeed being pulled. At the same time, the energy of heaven and earth, as well as the saint energy in Lu Ming's body, poured into the bow in a frenzy. An arrow that shone with 7 different colors appeared in the air. Success! Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He loosened his grip and the arrow shot out like a bolt of lightning, flying tens of thousands of meters away and hitting a mountain peak. Boom! A large hole was blasted into the mountain peak, and debris flew everywhere. What terrifying power! Lu Ming revealed an excited expression. This was an ancient battlefield. After experiencing a great battle between peerless powerhouses, energy and killing intent wreaked havoc here, causing the ground and rocks to become incomparably hard. Lu Ming's all-out attack only left a shallow mark on the ground. However, the arrow from earlier had pierced a huge hole in the mountain. The might of the arrow was extremely astonishing. However, the consumption of saint energy is also very shocking. I can't keep using it. This bow seemed to require many laws to be pulled. Moreover, the consumption of saint energy was also very shocking. Lu Ming would not be able to use it many times before his saint energy was drained. With such power, I'm afraid even a 7-star Void Emperor would be shot to death by this arrow. Although the consumption of saint energy was shocking, Lu Ming was still very satisfied. With this bow, he was not afraid of anyone below the true emperor. Moreover, he had only pulled the bowstring slightly just now. He was far from unleashing the power of this bow. As his cultivation improved in the future, the power of this bow would also become stronger. Lu Ming put away the big bow excitedly. With a flash of his body, he left the place. Next, Lu Ming continued to wander alone without any direction. After a day, he had already lost track of how far he had traveled. Boom! Boom! Suddenly, there was a roar in front. Someone was fighting. Lu Ming restrained his aura and quietly rushed over. Then, he saw some evil god tribe members besieging 3 humans. A young man, a middle-aged burly man, and an old man. The young man was slightly plump and his cultivation was very strong. He had reached the level of a 3-star Void Emperor. Moreover, he had also mastered an ultimate law. Obviously, he was a top genius. As for the middle-aged burly man, he was a 5-star Void Emperor. The old man was a 6-star Void Emperor and his combat strength was very strong. However, at this time, they were surrounded by danger. There were a total of 6 evil god tribe members besieging them. These 6 evil god tribe members were covered in purple scales and their cultivation was very high. One of them was also a 6-star Void Emperor and his combat strength was not weaker than the old man. There were also 3 5-star Void Emperors and 2 4-star Void Emperors. Such a lineup put the 3 humans in danger. Even if they resisted with all their might, they would not be able to stop it and were in imminent danger. Young master, hurry up and leave. We will stop them. The old man shouted. If you want to leave, let's leave together. The plump young man shouted. You want to leave? None of you can leave. The reward for killing a genius of the human race is quite good. He. The 6-star Void Emperor from the evil god tribe laughed loudly. However, his attacks did not weaken at all and continued to attack the old man. Not only did the old man have to defend against the attacks of the 6-star Void Emperor, but he also had to defend against the 2 5-star Void Emperors. The situation was very dangerous and a trace of blood was already flowing out from the corner of his mouth. Die! The evil god tribe member shouted. In the distance, a cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. The big bow appeared in his hand and then he quietly went to another direction. He planned to attack. If the people fighting in front were living beings from the heaven realm, he would not interfere and would not meddle in other people's business. However, one side was the evil god tribe and the other was the human race. That was a different story. Similarly, if Lu Ming did not have the big bow, he would not interfere. The other party had 5-star and 6-star Void Emperors. With his current combat strength, he would be courting death if he interfered. However, with the big bow in his hand, Lu Ming was fearless. In a few breaths, Lu Ming went to another direction and then pulled the big bow, aiming at the 6-star Void Emperor. The big bow emitted a faint light. The energy of heaven and earth and Lu Ming's saint power were constantly injected into the big bow. A 7-colored arrow appeared. Swoosh! Lu Ming released his grip and the arrow flew out. It instantly crossed a distance of dozens of miles and shot toward the 6-star Void Emperor. Its speed was astonishing. The 6-star Void Emperor reacted and wanted to dodge, but it was too late. He could only use all his strength to defend. However, his defense was like paper and could not withstand a single blow. Poof! The arrow pierced through all his defenses and shot into his forehead. It took him tens of thousands of meters away and stared at a short peak. A 6-star Void Emperor was instantly killed. At the scene, both the human race and the evil god tribe were stunned. Especially the evil god tribe, they were even more shocked. Kill! Chapter 2197. Retreat! An evil god tribe member roared. To be able to kill a 6-star Void Emperor with one arrow, they knew that a terrifying expert must have come from the heaven realm. How would they dare to stay? In fear, they turned and fled. Swoosh! Another arrow flew over, aiming at that 5-star Void Emperor. That 5-star Void Emperor screamed miserably and was shot to death. On the other side, the old man chased and killed the 5-star Void Emperor that he had severely injured. There were a total of 6 people on the other side. 1 6-star Void Emperor and 2 5-star Void Emperors were all killed, leaving only 3 4-star Void Emperors running for their lives. The 3 evil god tribe members fled in different directions. They knew that if they gathered together, none of them would be able to escape. Chase! The slightly plump youth roared and chased after a 4-star Void Emperor. The old man and the middle-aged man also chased after one of them. The evil god tribe member that the slightly plump youth chased after just happened to run toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming stepped out, holding a large bow and aiming at that evil god tribe member. That evil god tribe member was shocked and almost scared to death. Just now, 2 arrows had killed a 6-star Void Emperor and a 5-star Void Emperor. Now that he saw Lu Ming appear with a large bow, it would be strange if he was not scared to death. He was panicking, and the slightly plump youth had already arrived. This kind of purple-scaled evil god tribe member had very strong battle prowess. However, the slightly plump youth was a top genius. Although his cultivation was 1 level lower, his battle prowess was not inferior at all. In fact, he was even stronger. A snow-white and translucent saber light slashed toward the evil god tribe member. The evil god tribe member was fully on guard against Lu Ming. In his panic, he was directly hit by the slightly plump youth and was severely injured. The slightly plump youth hit the mark with 1 attack, and the subsequent attacks were endless. Snow-white saber light slashed toward the evil god tribe member one after another. The evil god tribe member was severely injured and was powerless to reverse the situation. They only had the power to defend and no longer had the power to counterattack. Defeat and death were inevitable. Lu Ming did not draw the large bow. Just now, he was just scaring the other party. Now that the matter was settled, he put away the large bow. Swoosh! A figure flashed, and the old man appeared. Clearly, he had already dealt with his opponent. After a while, the middle-aged man also appeared. Right now, the slightly plump young man had completely gained the upper hand. Saber light flashed, leaving behind many wounds on the evil god tribe member's body. Kill! In the end, the chubby young man shouted and chopped off his opponent's head. After killing the members of the evil god tribe, the chubby young man, the old man, and the middle-aged man looked at Lu Ming with shock in their eyes. Just now, the arrow had instantly killed a 6-star Void Emperor and a 5-star Void Emperor. They did not expect the owner of the arrow to be so young. Brother, Thank you for your help just now. The plump man walked over and cupped his fists to express his gratitude, his attitude sincere. You're too courteous. How can we not kill the foreign races when we see them? Lu Ming smiled. What a good, how can I not kill you? What you said really makes sense. I am Lu Hao. How should I address you, brother? The chubby young man said. Lu Ming. Lu Ming said. So it's Brother Lu. Lu Hao cupped his fists. Little brother Lu, thank you for your help. The old man and the middle-aged man also thanked Lu Ming. Lu Ming said a few polite words. Brother Lu, you seem to be very unfamiliar. Did you enter this battlefield alone? Lu Hao asked. That's right. Lu Ming nodded. It's not safe to enter alone. Now, the evil god tribe has also sent a large number of experts into this ancient battlefield. Now, the people of the heaven realm are gathering not far away, gathering our strength to fight against the evil god tribe together. Brother Lu, why don't you come with us? Lu Hao invited. Lu Ming pondered. After a while, Lu Ming nodded and said, all right, I'll go with you. Lu Ming agreed because he had his own considerations. First of all, Lu Hao and the others did not look like Blue Cloud and the others who were sinister, cunning, and shameless. Lu Hao and the others looked sincere and did not look like cunning people. In addition, he could not find a way out alone. Only with the people of the heaven realm could he find a way out and enter the supreme clear sky domain. Seeing that Lu Ming agreed, Lu Hao was overjoyed. He gave the 6 storage bracelets of the evil god tribe to Lu Ming, saying that it was all thanks to Lu Ming's help this time. Otherwise, they would have been finished. Lu Ming did not stand on ceremony and kept all of them. Then, they went in a direction. They did not encounter any danger on the way. A few hours later, they came to a barren mountain range. There was a valley inside, which was quite hidden. The living beings of the heaven realm gathered here. In addition to the human race, there were also the divine beast race. There are quite a lot of people. When Lu Ming and the others arrived, they looked around and found that there were more than 100 people. However, there were not many young people, only 5 or 6. The others were middle-aged or old. There were both men and women. Without a doubt, they were all martial emperors. Some people had very strong auras, faintly emitting the divine light of the world. True emperor. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. This ancient battlefield was very dangerous. The stronger the cultivation, the more dangerous it was to enter. True emperors were already in danger when they entered. They might be targeted by those powerhouses' imprints. Low-level true emperors were still fine, but high-level true emperors would definitely die when they encountered those imprints. Lu Hao greeted the few young people and introduced them to Lu Ming. The few young people smiled and nodded to Lu Ming. They did not have any reaction when they heard Lu Ming's name. Obviously, even if they had heard that the primordial realm had a peerless crippled body, they probably did not know Lu Ming's name. Lu Ming also smiled and nodded. Then, he stood at the side with Lu Ming. Lu Hao whispered. They entered this ancient battlefield this time to try their luck and see if they could get some opportunities and obtain some treasures. In addition, they had another thing, which was to find out why this ancient battlefield had changed. What exactly had happened? Was it related to the evil god tribe? The upper echelons of the heaven realm attached great importance to this matter. Therefore, they gathered together. Firstly, they could exchange information. Secondly, they would have a higher chance of success if they worked together later. As time passed, more and more people came here. Not long after, about 150 people had gathered. Swoosh! Swoosh! At this time, another rainbow light flew over. This time, more than 10 people came at once. Blue Cloud. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. This time, more than 10 people came. The person in the lead was actually Blue Cloud. Now, it seemed that his injuries had healed. Blue Cloud and the others landed in the valley and scanned the place. When he saw Lu Ming, his eyes emitted a strong killing intent as he strode towards Lu Ming. "Brat, we meet again. This time, let's see how you'll die." Blue Cloud walked in front of Lu Ming and said coldly with a ferocious expression. Chapter 2198. Blue Cloud and the others closed in on Lu Ming with undisguised murderous intent. "Blue Cloud, what do you want?" Lu Hao stepped forward and shouted. "What do we want?" "Cripple this kid," Blue Cloud said coldly. Around them, other people cast curious gazes at them. Lu Hao's expression changed and he said, "Lan Yun, the Two-World City has a rule. Once we enter the battlefield, the people of the Heaven Realm must be united. We are not allowed to kill each other. Those who break the rule will be punished by military law." Violate the rule? Let me tell you, this kid has violated the rule. He attacked and killed an expert of my Lan family, so I'm going to cripple him and bring him back to Two-World City to accept the punishment. Blue Cloud laughed. Two-World City was a huge city located at the entrance of Hunyuan Heaven Domain and Taiching Heaven Domain. It was incomparably majestic and had countless experts guarding it. It was because of Two-World City that the invasion of the foreign races was stopped. What? Hearing this, Lu Hao was stunned. If it was really like what Lan Yun said, he had no reason to interfere. Ridiculous, Lu Ming said indifferently. He glanced at Blue Cloud and said, "You and Lan Songshi are afraid of death, but you want to get the treasure. You used me as a test stone when you encountered a broken weapon left behind from ancient times. You didn't dare to go, but you asked me to. I helped you get a broken weapon and wanted to leave, but you didn't let me go and wanted to kill me. If I didn't do anything, would I wait to be killed by you?" Many people's eyes flickered. So that's what happened. If they were Lu Ming, they would have done the same. Blue Cloud, if that's the case, don't blame Brother Lu for taking action. Lu Hao said again. Nonsense. The three of us are searching for treasures together. Naturally, one of us has to go and test it. If all three of us go together, won't we be wiped out in danger? Blue Cloud argued. Then why am I the one going and not you? Lu Ming sneered. That time, it was you. The second time, it will definitely be us. We will take turns. However, you were blinded by greed and suddenly launched a sneak attack. You wanted to kill us and take the treasure for yourself. You deserve to die. Blue Cloud shouted, a cunning look in his eyes. Lu Ming sneered. This Blue Cloud was really shameless. What do you mean by taking turns? It's all bullshit. They clearly wanted to use Lu Ming as a stepping stone. If Lu Ming wanted to leave, they would kill Lu Ming and threaten him. So that's how it is. Everything is clear now. This brat was greedy and wanted to kill others to steal their treasures. Killing his own people on the battlefield is a serious violation of the rules. He must be punished. It was a young man named Yan Shi. He was also a genius. This, Lu Hao didn't know if Blue Cloud was telling the truth and didn't know what to say. Lu Ming, kneel down and destroy your own cultivation. Do you still need me to do it? Blue Cloud shouted. Come at me if you're capable. Lu Ming said coldly and a big bow appeared in his hand. You're really audacious. Do you still want to resist? Do it. Blue Cloud shouted. Swoosh! Swoosh! Behind Blue Cloud, shadows flickered. More than 10 people surrounded Lu Ming. Powerful auras pressed against Lu Ming. 2 7-star empty emperors and 2 6-star empty emperors. Lu Ming looked around and revealed a cold murderous intent in his eyes. The people brought by Blue Cloud were very strong. Lu Ming was definitely no match for them with his own strength. However, Lu Ming had a big bow in his hand and wasn't afraid of them. If these people were courting death, he didn't mind killing them. The one that made him feel pressured was Yan Shi. He had a true emperor expert with him. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, even with the big bow in his hand, he wouldn't be able to unleash such power. He wasn't a match for a true emperor. However, if he was forced into a corner, Lu Ming could use his heavenly emperor physique to kill his opponent. However, Lu Ming wouldn't use it unless it was a last resort. The others looked on coldly and no one said a word. Blue Cloud, aren't you going overboard? If there's anything, wait until we return to Two World City. Lu Hao said anxiously. Lu Ming had saved his life. He couldn't just watch Lu Ming be destroyed. Lu Hao, get lost. If you don't, I'll take you down as well. Blue Cloud scolded coldly. Lu Hao's face turned ugly. He was the one who invited Lu Ming here, but this happened. He felt terrible. Brother Lu, this has nothing to do with you. They'll have to pay a heavy price if they want to deal with me. Lu Ming said coldly. He poured his saint energy into the big bow, causing it to vibrate slightly and emit a layer of light. That's an ancient imperial weapon. Blue Cloud's eyes fell on the big bow with greed. The big bow was ancient with mottled rust on it. There was a high chance that it was obtained in this ancient battlefield. A weapon left behind in this ancient battlefield with spirituality was definitely extraordinary. Lan Yun was just about to order them to attack when a disdainful sneer resounded from the sky. How despicable and shameless. You forced others to be a test stone and were killed in the end. Now, you're slandering others. The Lan family is really getting worse and worse. The voice was full of disdain, causing Blue Cloud and the others to turn pale. Everyone looked up at the sky. They saw a 14 to 15-year-old young man in a Taiji Yin-Yang Taoist robe. He had his hands behind his back as he walked over. It was a young Taoist. Who are you? How dare you insult the Lan clan? Do you understand that you're courting death? Blue Cloud said coldly. Don't use the Lan clan to pressure me. Others may be afraid of the Lan clan, but I'm not. The young Taoist was disdainful. He said with a strong sense of ridicule, am I wrong? You're obviously forcing others to be your test stone. Naturally, they have to resist. How dare you frame others here? Anyone with a discerning eye can see that you're lying through your teeth. If the Lan clan were all people like you, they would have been annihilated long ago. The young Taoist had his hands behind his back, looking like a peerless expert. He looked at Blue Cloud from the corner of his eyes like a senior reprimanding a junior. You've insulted the Lan clan time and time again. You're courting death. In my opinion, this person is Lu Ming's accomplice. Attack and cripple him first. Blue Cloud roared. Swoosh! A middle-aged burly man from the Lan clan rushed out. He had the cultivation of a 5-star Void Emperor. With his cultivation of a 5-star Void Emperor, dealing with a young Taoist in his teens was a piece of cake. Almost everyone thought so, except for one person, and that was Lu Ming. Why does this guy look so familiar? Lu Ming looked at this young Taoist curiously. Lu Ming was sure that he had never seen the young Taoist's appearance before, but he felt that his temperament was very familiar. At this moment, there was also a change on the field. The 5-star Void Emperor of the Lan clan rushed toward the young Taoist at an astonishing speed. With a wave of his hand, a huge palm grabbed at the young Taoist, wanting to suppress him. Chapter 2199. I'll kick. The little Taoist shouted as he kicked the middle-aged man's face. Bang! The middle-aged man was directly kicked. With a scream, his burly body flew out and hit the stone wall of the valley before stopping. He lay there twitching non-stop. Everyone looked at the middle-aged man and sucked in a breath of cold air. The middle-aged man was too miserable. Half of his face had exploded and he didn't look human anymore. He was wailing non-stop. Many people were shocked. This little Taoist looked very young, but he actually had such terrifying strength. A 5-star Void Emperor couldn't even block a single move from him. Could it be that this little Taoist was transformed by some senior figure? Blue Cloud and the other members of the Lan family also looked a little solemn. This brat is indeed Lu Ming's companion. They are jackals of the same tribe. He publicly injured the experts of the Lon family. There's no need to talk about rules with such a person. Attack together and take him down. Blue Cloud roared. Swoosh! Swoosh! Immediately, all the experts of the Lon family moved. Their figures flashed as they charged towards the little Taoist. Lu Ming touched his nose and was a little speechless. He was about to start a massacre, but he could only stop at this moment. This was good too. If he killed all the people of the Lon family, it would be difficult to enter the Two-World City in the future. If he couldn't enter the Two-World City, he wouldn't be able to enter the Grand Pure Sky domain. If he stayed in this battlefield for a long time, it would definitely be very dangerous. With this little Taoist taking action, he couldn't be bothered to take action. Nest, so many people are attacking me. Your Lon family has really fallen. Sooner or later, you will be destroyed. I'll kick, the little Taoist shouted, but his hands and feet didn't stop. His figure flashed and his movement technique was actually extremely fast. He dodged all the attacks of the Lon family's experts and suddenly kicked out. Bang! A 6-star Void Emperor's face was kicked. He screamed and followed in the footsteps of the previous man. Half of his face exploded and he lay on the ground twitching non-stop. You're despicable, shameless, I'll kick, the little Taoist continued to shout and suddenly kicked out again. This time, he kicked twice in a row. Bang! Bang! The two figures were sent flying by the kick. They lay on the ground twitching, unable to get up for a while. Many people gasped. This was because a 7-star Void Emperor and a 6-star Void Emperor had been sent flying. Everyone understood that this little Taoist's combat strength was terrifyingly high. That was a 7-star Void Emperor. He was already at the peak of the Void Emperor realm. However, such a figure could not withstand a single kick from the little Taoist. The other members of the Lon family were shocked. They wanted to retreat, but it was too late. I kick, the little Taoist made a big fuss. His figure flashed continuously in the air and his legs kicked out continuously. Bang! Bang! The remaining members of the Lon family were sent flying one by one, lying on the ground twitching non-stop. Blue Cloud stood there, dumbfounded. It's your turn. The little Taoist looked at Blue Cloud with a cold smile and walked towards Blue Cloud. You! How dare you! The higher-ups of the Two-World City have set a rule that the living beings of the Heaven Realm are not allowed to kill each other after entering the battlefield. How dare you defy the rule? Blue Cloud roared. I didn't kill them. How did I violate the rule? Also, what does it matter if I kill scum like you? Is it a waste of air to keep you alive? The little Taoist said casually. Blue Cloud was shocked and furious. He retreated quickly, but the little Taoist was even faster. In a flash, he caught up with Blue Cloud. Don't kick me, Blue Cloud screamed. Smack! The little Taoist slapped Blue Cloud's face. Blue Cloud screamed. His body spun a few hundred times in the air and smashed heavily on the ground. He lay there twitching non-stop. His face was swollen like a pig's head. I'll satisfy you. Don't kick me, hit me with your hands. The little Taoist curled his lips. The others were speechless. Then, the little Taoist rolled his eyes and said, It's a waste to let scum like you who specialize in framing others. However, there are rules in the Two-World City. I'll spare your lives, but you have to be punished. I'll keep your belongings for you first. I'll let you reflect on it. You can take it back after you've thought it through. After saying that, the little Taoist flashed and took away the storage rings of more than 10 Lon family experts. Many people's eyelids twitched. This was too ruthless. They could tell that the little Taoist's safekeeping was just an excuse. He was just looking for an excuse to collect treasures. In the end, the little Taoist came to Blue Cloud. No, don't take my storage ring. Blue Cloud screamed like an innocent girl who had been bullied. He curled up his body and grabbed the storage ring tightly with both hands. This storage ring contained his entire life savings. All of his belongings were inside. If he lost it, he would suffer a great loss. Why are you grabbing it so tightly? Who do you think I am? I'm just keeping it for you. Do you think I'll be greedy for your treasures? The little Taoist berated. No, how could Blue Cloud believe the little Taoist's words? Bang! Bang! At the next moment, the little Taoist kicked down twice. One kick landed on Blue Cloud's face and the other on Blue Cloud's crotch. Blue Cloud screamed. His body twitched continuously. His eyes rolled back and he was foaming at the mouth. A top genius of a generation had ended up in such a state. Many people broke out in cold sweat. A gentleman uses his mouth and not his fists. I didn't want to use my fists, but you forced me to use my fists. No, I mean my fists. Why? Why? The little Taoist muttered. He waved his hand and kept Blue Cloud's storage ring. After putting away the ring, the little Taoist's eyes fell upon Blue Cloud's robe. His eyes lit up. This robe is made from the silk of a million-year snow silkworm, right? This is a treasure. It's a waste to keep it on you, so I'll keep it for you. Having said that, he wanted to take off Blue Cloud's clothes. Brother, aren't you going too far? Don't go too far so that we can meet again in the future. She couldn't take it anymore. He and Blue Cloud were friends. Brat, you want to give me something to keep as well? The little Taoist glanced at Shi. Shi's face was a little gloomy as he said, although you are very strong, you can't be so lawless. Having said that, Shi waved his hand. Boom! An old man stepped out from behind Shi. He exuded a terrifying aura with a faint glow of a world. This was a true emperor. Shi had brought a true emperor with her, so she was confident. A puny one-star void emperor dares to act arrogantly in front of me? Fine, I'll keep a few more things today. The little Taoist sighed. However, he disappeared the next second and directly rushed towards the true emperor. You. Chapter 2200. A true emperor from the Yen clan unleashed his world power towards the young Taoist. However, the young Taoist's body flashed and split into 2, then 4, then 8, eventually 16 figures. Kick! Slap! The 16 young Taoists shouted at the same time. Some kicked while others slapped. However, there was one thing in common: their legs and palms were covered in runes. Bam! Bam! The young Taoist managed to break through the power of the Yen true emperor's world. The 16 figures then unleashed a barrage of kicks and slaps on the emperor's face. The emperor screamed and followed in the footsteps of the Lan clan. He twitched on the ground, unable to stand up. Hiss! The sound of people sucking in cold air could be heard. They stared at the young Taoist with their mouths agape. This little Taoist was too strong. His opponent was a true emperor, but he was still able to take him down in one go. Shi was even paler. At this time, the little Taoist priest looked at Shi. Shi was drenched in cold sweat. He squeezed out a smile that was uglier than crying and said, "Brother, it's a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. You've taken a fancy to Lan Yun's treasure. Please do as you wish, I won't interfere. *CK off, I'm interested in you now." The young Taoist sneered and rushed towards Shi. More screams came after. Shi's men and Shi herself were taken down as well. The young Taoist then began to take the storage rings of the Yen clan members. The most miserable ones were Shi and Lan Yun. Their identities were not ordinary. They were top-notch heaven's prides. Their wealth was incomparably abundant. Even the clothes on their bodies, the accessories on their heads and the accessories on their hands were all rare treasures. Therefore, the little Taoist had naturally plundered all of it. To put it nicely, he was keeping it for safekeeping. After that, Yan Shi and Lan Yun were stripped by the little Taoist until they were left with only their underwear. The others were drenched in cold sweat. They were glad that they didn't offend the young Taoist. Being stripped naked in front of everyone would be a big joke. Many were mourning for Blue Cloud and Yan Shi. Today's harvest is not bad. The young Taoist smiled and murmured after putting away the items. Though he spoke softly, others still heard him and felt a toothache. The little Taoist's gaze surveyed the surroundings and swept over everyone. After that, he put his hands behind his back and put on the appearance of an exceptional expert as he said, "These people are too despicable. They actually forced others to be test stones and in the end, they even wanted to kill others. That's why they ended up in this state." Many people looked down on him. "Kind? You're the most unkind one here." Of course, no one dared to say it out loud. They only thought about it in their hearts. Otherwise, they might end up like Blue Cloud and the others. Finally, the young Taoist looked at Lu Ming and said, "Brat, I see that you're not well liked here. I see that you're a talent, so why don't you follow me? I'll take you out of here and bring you to eat good food. How about it?" "Okay." Lu Ming nodded without hesitation. "So straightforward?" The young Taoist was doubtful. "It's just that straightforward. Let's go." Lu Ming smiled. Then, he clasped his fists at Lu Hao and the others, and said, "Brother Lu, Lu Ming will take his leave. Let's go, let's go." The young Taoist placed both hands behind his back and stepped into the air, leaving this valley. Lu Ming followed. Soon, they were far away from this valley. On the way, Lu Ming sized up the young Taoist carefully. He looked at him from head to toe, then from tail to head. "Hey, what are you looking at? You don't have any special fetishes, do you?" The young Taoist felt uncomfortable from being stared at. "Have we met before?" Lu Ming suddenly asked. The young Taoist's eyelids twitched. He hurriedly shook his head, and said, "No, definitely not. Who am I? Do you think you can meet me just because you want to?" "Oh? Is that so? You look very familiar to me, like an old friend." Lu Ming said softly. "Little guy, don't think too much. Meeting me is your fortune, and also your great opportunity. Follow me in the future and run errands for me when you're free. There will be benefits for you." The young Taoist's face turned serious. His hands were behind his back, and his back was ramrod straight. He had the demeanor of a peerless expert. It was just that he looked too young. He was only in his teens. No matter how one looked at him, he did not have the demeanor of an expert at all. "Then I'll have to thank you." Lu Ming smiled and clasped his fists. Then, he suddenly asked, "Dandan, how did you come from the primordial realm to the heaven realm?" "Who am I? I'm invincible since ancient times. Naturally, I know other passageways." The young Taoist spoke proudly at first, but halfway through, he seemed to have realized something and suddenly stopped. He saw Lu Ming looking at him with a smile that was not a smile. "You are indeed Dandan. You actually dare to not recognize me when you see me?" Lu Ming's gaze was very unfriendly. "Lu Ming, how dare you trick me?" The young Taoist gritted his teeth. To be more precise, he was Dandan. In fact, when he first saw the young Taoist, Lu Ming had been suspicious. Although the young Taoist's aura was concealed very well and he could not sense it at all, his personality and style were too similar. Lu Ming immediately thought of Dandan. After the young Taoist defeated Blue Cloud and the others, a series of events made Lu Ming even more certain that this guy was Dandan. This also better explained why the young Taoist was completely on Lu Ming's side when he appeared. If it were a stranger, why would he be on Lu Ming's side when he appeared? That was why Lu Ming did not hesitate to follow Dandan just now. However, this guy wanted to show off in front of Lu Ming, but he was exposed by Lu Ming's words. I haven't seen you for many years, but your cultivation has increased very quickly." Lu Ming laughed. He never expected to meet Dandan here, and he was also overjoyed. Who am I? The number one of all time, the leader of the top 10 battle beasts. Of course my improvement is fast. Unlike you, who haven't become an emperor yet. Dandan looked at Lu Ming with disdain, proud of himself. In the past, when he followed Lu Ming, his cultivation was often suppressed by Lu Ming. Now that his cultivation had far surpassed Lu Ming, he immediately felt refreshed. Dandan, have you recovered your memory? Lu Ming asked. Almost, so you can follow me in the future. I'll take you to all kinds of forbidden areas, and there are all kinds of treasures. I guarantee that your cultivation will increase rapidly. Dandan's face was full of pride. Why are you dressed like a young Taoist? Lu Ming asked curiously. After I transformed, I was originally like this. As for this Taoist robe, it's convenient for my movements. Dandan chuckled. Fraud. 2 words popped up in Lu Ming's mind. Dandan's appearance, coupled with his style of doing things, was a typical fraud template. By the way, how did you come to the Heaven Realm? I heard that a group of geniuses came to the Primordial Realm, but you weren't there. And these geniuses are now cultivating in seclusion. Chapter 2201. Immediately, Lu Ming explained how he came to the Heavenly Realm. So that's how it is. Fortunately, the passage collapsed, or else it would be really dangerous. Dandan's face turned solemn, then he glanced at Lu Ming and said, You said that you've mastered many laws at the same time? Show it to me. Lu Ming nodded, and immediately, the laws spread out. Dandan was dumbfounded. She looked like a fool. After a long time, Dandan came to his senses. Nestle, 7 laws and 2 supreme laws, how did you do it? Dandan said with wide eyes. So what if you have 7 laws? It's a pity that it's difficult to become an emperor. Lu Ming sighed. It's indeed difficult to become an emperor. You have a peerless body. Dandan muttered and sighed. Dandan, you're always bragging. Don't you know of any way to make me become an emperor? Lu Ming asked. You're the bragging one. When did I do that? Dandan widened his eyes angrily, then frowned and thought carefully. After a long time, Dandan said, There are people like you who have mastered many laws below the martial emperor level in the history of the Heavenly Realm, but in the end, no one became an emperor. Everyone failed. They either died on the way to break through by force, or died from exhaustion of their lifespan. Is there really no other way? I'm not willing to accept this. Lu Ming clenched his fists. Actually, it's not completely impossible. Dandan said again. Is there really a way? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. In ancient times, I knew a person who was a peerless genius. It could be said that he was a rare genius. His ambition was higher than the sky, and he wanted to walk a brand new path, a path that no one had walked before. I don't know how he cultivated. Later on, before he became a martial emperor, he grasped many kinds of laws. He was invincible against those of the same level. No one was his match. Unfortunately, his path was cut short. It was difficult for him to become a martial emperor. No matter what method he used, it was impossible for him to become a martial emperor. Later on, he spent his entire life studying the secrets of controlling many kinds of laws below the martial emperor realm. It is said that in his later years, he finally made great progress. However, it was already too late. He did not have much time left and his potential had been exhausted. As long as you know the method he came up with, it might be able to help you become an emperor. Dandan said. It's been countless years since the ancient era. How can we find his method? Lu Ming asked, but he wasn't sure either. After all, so many years had passed. According to Dandan, at that time, the evil god race had yet to attack the Heaven Realm. That person's clan is still around. They live in seclusion somewhere in the Grand Clarity Heaven domain. Once we leave this place, I'll take you there. Don't worry. If you stick with me, I'll treat you well. Dandan said proudly. Lu Ming couldn't be bothered to bicker with Dandan. At this moment, he was overjoyed. There was finally a clue. As long as he could find the method left behind by that senior, he might really be able to break through his shackles and become an emperor. When are we leaving? Lu Ming asked. Don't be anxious. This is the most famous battlefield in the ancient era. A terrifying battle broke out between the Heaven Realm and the alien race. Many experts died here. Although so many years have passed, there must be peerless treasures left behind. This is a rare opportunity that we can't miss. We'll leave after we've collected all the treasures here. Dandan said. Lu Ming nodded. He wasn't in a hurry. Dandan, you couldn't have participated in the battle here back then, right? Lu Ming asked curiously. No, I was in another battlefield. It was even more tragic than here. Dandan said. He seemed to have recalled something and didn't say anything else. The two flew. After a few hours, Dandan suddenly stopped. He landed on the ground and endless runes spread out under his feet. After a while, he revealed a joyful expression and said, "There's something in front." Let's do it. Having said that, he took to his heels and Lu Ming followed closely behind. After climbing over a few hills, they saw two skeletons at the bottom of a cliff. One of the skeletons was the skeleton of a huge beast. It seemed to have been left behind by a tiger-shaped divine beast. The other skeleton was in the shape of a human, but its body was huge. It was 4 to 5 meters tall. The human-shaped skeleton was holding a spear that pierced through the beast-shaped skeleton's skull. One of the beast-shaped skeleton's claws had cracked the human-shaped skeleton's skull. Obviously, the human-shaped skeleton was an expert of the evil god tribe. As for the beast-shaped skeleton, it was a divine beast. The two experts had perished together. Dandan looked at the spear in the human-shaped skeleton's hand with a fiery gaze. In addition, there was a fist-sized crystal under the beast-shaped skeleton. The heart of the realm. After so many years, the heart of the realm can still be preserved. As long as it contains a trace of energy, it's a great opportunity. Dandan grinned. However, the two of them didn't get close. The things left behind by such a person would probably contain killing intent and be very dangerous. Watch me. Dandan stepped on the ground and endless runes spread out. At the same time, he waved his hands continuously and endless runes shone. This contains the law of array Dao, law of alchemy Dao, law of tools Dao. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Dandan's runes were very profound. It actually combined 3 types of law of inscription Dao. Moreover, it was a perfect combination. It was incomparably mysterious. Dandan kept flashing around the area and endless runes entered the ground. After a while, Dandan retreated and said, "It's done." Buzz! The ground shone and endless runes appeared, forming huge words. They were the word, destroy. These, destroy, characters flew toward the spear and the heart of the realm. Bang! When the words came into contact with the spear directly collapsed and turned into ashes. It's a pity that it has lost its spirituality and has become a piece of trash. Dandan shook his head, but in the next moment, his eyes lit up. Because the heart of the realm suddenly burst out with light. Kill! Kill! Vaguely, they could hear the sounds of killing coming from the heart of the realm. The cultivations of the experts who died here were too strong. Even after so many years, there was still an immortal killing intent lingering in the air. Ordinary experts definitely couldn't do it. Chi. Those destroy characters covered the heart of the realm and began to erase the killing intent on the heart of the realm. The function of this array was very similar to the array set up by the evil god tribe. It could erase the killing intent left behind by experts. Not long after, the sounds of killing in the heart of the realm disappeared and the light on it dimmed. Success! Dandan was overjoyed. He grabbed the fist-sized heart of the realm in his hand. Dandan sensed it and said regretfully, "So many years have passed and its energy is almost exhausted. However, it is still very useful." Lu Ming, you haven't become an emperor yet. This heart of the realm won't be of much use to you. I'll keep it. Chapter 2202. Someone is coming. Suddenly, Dandan looked into the distance. Swoosh! 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 Streaks of light flew over, and soon, 8 figures appeared in the sky. Each of the 8 evil god tribe members had a powerful aura. When their 3 eyes opened and closed, they were as cold as knives. Their gazes swept across the 2 skeletons, and their eyes lit up. They must have obtained the treasures. Kill them! One of the evil god tribe members roared and charged toward Dandan and Lu Ming. Among the 8 evil god tribe members, one of them had a terrifying aura that far surpassed the Void Emperor realm and had reached the true Emperor realm. There were also 6 and 7-star Void Emperors. The weakest 2 were 4-star Void Emperors. You dare to target me? You are courting death. Dandan said coldly. Countless runes appeared on his body, forming a pair of wings made of runes. Lu Ming felt that this pair of wings contained at least 3 types of laws. Swoosh! Dandan's figure disappeared in a flash. His speed was shockingly fast. Lu Ming, I will leave the 2 4-star Void Emperors to you. Leave the rest to me. Dandan's voice rang in Lu Ming's ears. He had already charged toward the other party. With a wave of his hand, 6 huge turtles flew out. These turtles were not living creatures. They were formed by the interweaving of energy and the power of laws. One of them was the largest, and it charged toward the true Emperor Evil God Tribe member. The other 5 turtles flew toward the remaining 5 people, missing the 2 weakest ones. The 2 weakest ones were 4-star Void Emperors. They charged toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming did not take out his bow. He did not need a bow to deal with 2 4-star Void Emperors. The Sword of Death was formed, and Lu Ming charged toward the 2 evil god tribe members. Die! 2 purple beams of light shot out from the 3rd eyes of the 2 evil god tribe members, shooting toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming slashed out twice and destroyed the beams of light. The 2 evil god tribe members' expressions changed slightly. They took out their weapons and charged toward Lu Ming. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming clashed with the 2 of them. The bodies of the 2 members of the evil god race trembled violently, and they were pushed back repeatedly. Lu Ming followed up with extreme speed. His sword light did not stop. Within the Sword of Death, different laws constantly vibrated, forming a terrifying cutting power. The 2 members of the evil god race tried their best to block a few more moves, but they were completely at a disadvantage. After a few moves, one of the members of the evil god race was slashed by Lu Ming's sword light, almost cleaving him into 2. A deep wound appeared on his body, and the power of death and destruction frenziedly drilled into his body, causing him to cough up large mouthfuls of blood. His aura started to weaken. These 2 evil god tribesmen were both purple-scaled evil god tribesmen and could be considered strong. If it were 2 black-scaled 4-star Void Emperor evil god tribesmen, they would have been killed by Lu Ming in 2 moves. With one of them injured, his battle prowess was greatly reduced. The remaining one was even less of a match for Lu Ming. Come and help us! A member of the evil god race roared. But the only response he got was a scream. The other 6 members of the evil god race were in an even worse state. At this moment, 3 members of the evil god race had already been killed by Dandan. They were all 5-star and 6-star Void Emperor evil god tribesmen. Bang! Next, a 7-star Void Emperor was pierced through by Dandan's palm. A burst of energy burst forth, and the other party's body was torn into pieces. In an instant, only 2 of the 6 people who had been fighting Dandan were left. One was a 7-star Void Emperor, and the other was a true Emperor. With Lu Ming's cultivation realm, he could not tell how many stars they were, but their strength was extremely shocking. At this moment, the 2 of them felt chills all over their bodies. How dare you attack me? Kill! Dandan roared. His hands glowed, and a huge tortoise condensed. This huge tortoise was as big as a mountain, and it was very similar to Danden's original body. The huge tortoise's size was astonishing, filling the sky. Then, like a huge mountain, it pressed down, completely enveloping this area. The two members of the evil god race had nowhere to run or dodge. They could only take it head-on. The two of them unleashed their full strength, and two terrifying attacks blasted towards the huge tortoise. This was especially true for the one-star true emperor. This was a true emperor with frightening power, much stronger than a 7-star void emperor. He was even stronger than the previous one-star true emperor from the Yen clan. However, under the suppression of the huge tortoise, the two of them could not resist at all. It was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Bang! First, the 7-star void emperor's body directly exploded. Under the terrifying energy, he was reduced to ashes and scattered ashes. Ah! The true emperor also roared, and his body erupted with a resplendent purple light. But it was useless. His body trembled, and the ground under his feet continued to explode. Bang! Finally, the arm of the evil god race's true emperor exploded, and his flesh and blood flew everywhere. Next, his body collapsed inch by inch. A powerful true emperor was also killed by Danden. When the two 4-star void emperors from the evil god tribes saw this, they were scared out of their wits. How could they fight against Lu Ming when they were distracted? Lu Ming seized the opportunity and slashed one of the evil god race's true emperors. The remaining one, who was already heavily injured, was even weaker. Lu Ming caught up in a few steps and killed him with one slash. Lu Ming, your usage of laws is wrong. It's too rough. You didn't cultivate any ancient scriptures, right? Danden came over and asked. No, this divine art is something I created myself. I can barely exert the power of many laws, but it's not strong enough. I need to deepen my understanding of it. Lu Ming said. No wonder. It's a pity. Although you have mastered many laws, you can't exert the power of the laws very well. I know a few ancient scriptures, but they're very different from the laws you've comprehended. They won't be of much use to you. Danden said. Ancient scriptures could only be comprehended after becoming a martial emperor because they involved many different laws. Whether a martial emperor had an ancient scripture or not, it would have a huge impact on their cultivation and combat strength. An ancient scripture would record the comprehension and usage of at least 2 laws. A cultivator could use an ancient scripture to deduce and comprehend other laws. For example, an ancient scripture recorded the comprehension and usage of 3 laws. If a cultivator only comprehended one of the 3 laws, he could comprehend this ancient scripture to deduce the other laws and comprehend the other 2 laws. When the ancient scripture was cultivated to the Great Accomplishment realm, the 3 laws would also be cultivated to the Great Accomplishment realm. For example, an ancient scripture contained the fire, ice, and lightning laws. A martial emperor who cultivated the fire laws could refer to this ancient scripture to deduce the ice laws and even the lightning laws. Moreover, an ancient scripture would also have a corresponding divine ability technique. For example, if Lu Ming could obtain an ancient scripture that recorded the chaos, death, array Dao, alchemy Dao, tools Dao, force Dao and devour Dao, he would be able to cultivate the divine art. His strength would skyrocket. These divine arts were all comprehended by previous cultivators. They could perfectly fuse the power of various laws and fully erupt. The more laws an ancient scripture contained, the higher its grade. For example, if an ancient scripture contained 9 laws, the value of this ancient scripture would be immeasurable. This was because a cultivator could follow this ancient scripture and comprehend it until they reached the Great Emperor realm. There was no need for them to take detours. Referring to an ancient scripture to cultivate was many times better than fumbling around alone. Chapter 2203. An ancient scripture could allow a force to flourish. Similarly, a powerful force couldn't do without an ancient scripture. With an ancient scripture, a martial emperor expert could continue to move forward. Otherwise, they would have no direction and had to rely on themselves. That would be much more difficult. For example, Lu Ming was like that now. He could comprehend any new law as he pleased. If he had an ancient scripture, he could follow the records in the ancient scripture and deduce it. That way, his cultivation speed would naturally be much faster. Unfortunately, the Primal Chaos scripture is incomplete and I can't go to the Primal Chaos Palace now. Thinking of this, Lu Ming frowned. Previously, 2E had told him that as long as he defeated the Son of Chaos, he could go to the Primal Chaos Palace and inherit it completely. Now, he had already defeated Yuan Xian. However, when he was in the Primal Realm, Lu Ming had used the Primal Chaos token many times to enter the Primal Chaos Palace, but there was no response at all. If he had the Primal Chaos scripture, he wouldn't have to fumble around like this. Dandan, your cultivation has reached the true Emperor realm? Lu Ming asked. Dandan's performance was incomparably fierce. A true emperor from the evil god tribe was killed by Dandan. Lu Ming was very curious. No, I'm just a peak void emperor. But killing a few low-level true emperors is easy. Dandan said proudly. He glanced at Lu Ming and said, Kid, don't think that you're so great just because you've comprehended 7 laws. I'll show you mine. After saying that, Dandan waved his hand. In the void, the power of laws gathered crazily and filled the air with a bright radiance. 1 type, 2 types, 3 types, there were a total of 9. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. Dandan had mastered a total of 9 laws. Among them, Lu Ming saw the strongest law, the primordial law. The other 8 were all King Dao laws. Array Dao, Pill Dao, Equipment Dao, Immortal Flame, Destructive Lightning, and some of the laws were extremely powerful. At least 5 of them had reached the 2nd level. No wonder why Dandan was so strong, able to kill a true emperor as a peak void emperor. Seeing Lu Ming's dumbfounded expression, Dandan's vanity was incomparably satisfied, and he laughed strangely. Brat, did you see that? This king is unparalleled in this world. I've already grasped 9 types of laws, and 6 of them have reached the 2nd stage. Coupled with the ancient scriptures I've grasped, what's the point of jumping realms to fight? Not to mention a 2-star true emperor, I can even kill a 3-star void emperor. Dandan was immensely proud of himself. With his hands behind his back, he looked unparalleled. This guy, Lu Ming pursed his lips, but at the same time, he felt relieved. Dandan did not die at all back then. He was only heavily injured, so he turned into an egg and was reborn. Now that he had recovered all of his memories, his cultivation speed was naturally astonishing. No one could compare to him. He was different from Bubble. Bubble was a brand new life, so he had to comprehend it step by step. After being proud for a while, Dandan looked at Lu Ming with his hands behind his back, and said, Brat, I see that you've also comprehended the Tao of Equipment, Tao of Array, and Tao of Alchemy. I can teach you a divine art. It won't increase your combat strength by much, but it will greatly increase your ability to escape. Oh? What divine art? Lu Ming asked curiously. Dandan had been by his side in the past and had been suppressed by him. She had not been able to make a name for herself. Now that her cultivation level had surpassed Lu Ming's and she had regained her memory, she naturally had to show off in front of Lu Ming. Lu Ming cooperated with him and let him show off more. When he felt comfortable, Lu Ming could even gain some benefits. Sure enough, Dandan was incomparably comfortable, and his vanity was greatly satisfied. He took out a jade talisman and engraved it, before tossing it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming caught it and scanned it with his spiritual consciousness. He realized that it was a divine art. The 6-feathered mystical wings was a divine art. This divine art was made up of 6 types of laws. Only by mastering these 6 types of laws could the divine art be cultivated to the highest level. Of course, 3 of them could also be cultivated, but their power was relatively weaker. These 3 types were the Tao of Array, Tao of Equipment, and Tao of Alchemy. What a magical divine art! Unfortunately, it's not an ancient scripture, but a pure divine art. I can't use it to deduce other laws. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Let's leave this place first. You can slowly comprehend it along the way, Dandan said. Lu Ming nodded and the two immediately left the place. Next, Lu Ming split a portion of his attention to hurry on the road. Most of his attention was on comprehending the six-feathered mystical wings. A few days later, Lu Ming had already comprehended it. With a thought, the three types of laws, Tao of array, Tao of equipment, and Tao of alchemy, filled the air. A pair of transparent wings appeared behind him. With a flap of the wings, Lu Ming's speed increased exponentially. He flickered in the void as fast as lightning, and it was difficult to capture his trajectory. Amazing! Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Using this divine art allowed his speed to increase by several times. This was only cultivated with three types of laws. If he mastered all six types of laws, his speed would be astonishing. I've just cultivated it. As I cultivate in the future, my speed will be even faster. Moreover, the Tao of equipment and Tao of alchemy are not perfected yet. If they are, my speed will increase too. Also, the other three types of laws to cultivate the six-feathered mystical wings are all Tao of kings. One of them is the Tao of penetration. Should I cultivate this type of law in the future? Lu Ming's mind continued to ponder. In the end, he decided to take it slow. As the Tao of alchemy and Tao of equipment were not perfected yet, he planned to cultivate these two types of laws to perfection first before considering comprehending other laws. Even so, his speed had increased exponentially, and his ability to protect himself had greatly increased. Very quickly, another few days passed. Lu Ming's control of the six-feathered mystical wings was becoming more and more proficient. In the past few days, they had also gained something. They had obtained a total of 2 world cores. Although the loss of energy was very serious, there was still some left. To a martial emperor, this was definitely a treasure that could help increase one's cultivation. This time, Dandan was kind enough to give one to Lu Ming. Lu Ming naturally took it without hesitation. If he became an emperor in the future, this thing would be of great use. Wait, there's someone. Suddenly, Dandan said in a low voice. Then, he restrained his aura to the extreme. Dandan had also mastered a concealment technique. Its effect was not inferior to the divine aura technique at all. Lu Ming's eyes flashed as he activated his divine aura technique. Then, the two hid under a rock. Whoosh! In the sky, a rainbow light flew past at an astonishing speed. Such a strong cultivation. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. The rainbow light swept past, but Lu Ming still saw it. It was a powerful evil god tribe member, definitely not an ordinary true emperor. A peak true emperor dares to fly at such a fast speed? Courting death. Dandan muttered and transmitted his voice to Lu Ming. Kill! At this time, a battle cry shook the world. Chapter 2204. Lu Ming and Dandan hurriedly walked out from under the stone and looked ahead. They saw a resplendent radiance in the void before them as a figure appeared. This was a human. His killing intent shook the sky. With a loud shout, the sky shook. He held a saber in his hand and slashed at the evil god tribe member. The evil god tribe member roared and unleashed his full cultivation. However, it was useless. The saber light slashed and the evil god tribe member was split into two. After killing the evil god tribe member, the figure stood in the air. After a while, it turned into specks of light and dissipated. It was an indestructible mark of an expert. When it sensed an expert approaching, it would appear and kill. Even true emperors will be in danger if they enter this ancient battlefield. It's fine if a high-level true emperor keeps a low profile. Flying at such a high speed is simply courting death. Dandan said disdainfully. Immediately, the two of them rushed over and put away the true emperor's storage ring and bracelet. In the blink of an eye, another few days passed. However, they didn't find anything during these few days. Boom! Boom! Suddenly, a violent explosion came from ahead. The two of them retracted their auras and flew into the sky. They hid in the clouds and slowly floated forward. Not long after, they saw a castle in front of them. At this time, a group of evil god tribe members surrounded the castle and bombarded it continuously. The castle was built with an unknown material. It looked very old. The gate of the castle was tightly shut and there was a layer of light on the gate. Those evil god tribe members were bombarding the gate of the castle, wanting to break it open. There's actually a castle here? Lu Ming was incomparably astonished. They had been here for so many days, but this was the first time they saw a building. A castle here is probably no small matter. It might be the palace of a peerless expert in the past. Dandan's eyes were shining. Dandan, could it be that you want to go in? But there are so many evil god tribe members in front. The two of us are far from enough. Lu Ming said. There were at least 100 evil god tribe members in front of the castle. From the way they attacked the gate of the castle, it could be seen that there were many experts and true emperors. There were even high-level true emperors. The Fiend God tribe sent a large number of experts this time. High-level true emperors were in danger here since they could be sensed by the imprint and killed. However, there would always be some lucky ones who wouldn't encounter the mark of a powerhouse. Dandan was strong, but he wasn't a match for a high-level true emperor. The two of them frowned as they tried to think of a countermeasure. I can lay down a great killing formation in advance. If I can lure the evil god race into the great formation, I can kill them. However, I need to lure them in first. Dandan frowned and muttered. I'll do it. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. You're going to lure them out? No, you might have learned the six-feathered god wings and increased your speed, but you're still not fast enough against a true emperor. You can't escape. Dandan shook his head. Don't worry, what if I attack from over 100 li away? Lu Ming smiled and the big bow appeared in his hand. Dandan looked at the big bow carefully and said, Fallen Star Bow, this is the Fallen Star Bow. Brat, you actually got the Fallen Star Bow? As she spoke, Dandan almost drooled. She reached out to grab the bow. Lu Ming quickly put it away. Dandan looked at Lu Ming with a sad face. You know the origin of this bow? Lu Ming asked. Of course, this bow was famous in the ancient era. It was the weapon of a peerless expert. It was said that one arrow could shoot down the stars in the sky. Unfortunately, it has lost too much of its spirituality. It's not as powerful as it used to be. Dandan said, but his eyes were still burning. Fallen Star Bow? Lu Ming whispered. He was already very satisfied. Even though his spirituality was severely damaged, it was enough for him now. He could only pull it apart a little. Dandan, let's go back and set up the formation. I'll go lure people out. Lu Ming changed the topic so that Dandan wouldn't keep thinking about the Fallen Star Bow. Dandan sighed and lamented the unfairness of the heavens. Why was it that someone as brilliant and peerless as him wasn't as lucky as Lu Ming? Eventually, the two retreated and chose a spot several thousand miles away. Dandan began setting up the formation. Dandan's mastery of formations and runes had reached an unimaginable level. Any law could be turned into runes in his hands and fused into the formation. This was a realm that Lu Ming was far from reaching. An hour later, Dandan shouted, It's almost done. This formation is enough to kill a peak true emperor. Go and lure people out. I hope they haven't broken into the castle yet. Lu Ming nodded and flashed in the direction of the castle. Not long after, Lu Ming arrived 100 miles away from the castle. Lu Ming stood in the air and took out the Fallen Star Bow. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, he could shoot from 1,000 miles away with the Fallen Star Bow. However, the power would be relatively weaker. At a distance of 100 miles, the power of the Fallen Star Bow could be maximized. Lu Ming pulled the Fallen Star Bow. Then, a rainbow-colored arrow pierced through the void and shot toward an evil god tribe member outside the castle. The speed was too fast and it was a sneak attack. The other party couldn't react at all. Bang! A 6-star void emperor from the evil god tribe was directly killed by the arrow. Who is it? The other evil god tribe members roared. They looked around and immediately found Lu Ming. It's a human. You're courting death. An evil god tribe member roared. Lu Ming turned and left. He executed the 6-feathered divine wings. His speed was astonishing as he ran toward the place where Dandan had set up the formation. The gate of this castle is about to be breached. Attack the gate first. A true emperor from the evil god tribe spoke. They didn't chase after Lu Ming. Lu Ming ran for a while and realized that no one from the evil god tribe was chasing after him. Nestle, it seems like killing one isn't enough. Let's kill a few more. Lu Ming returned and landed 100 miles away. Swish! 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 This time, Lu Ming pulled the bow and shot 3 arrows. This time, the evil god tribe was prepared. However, it was still useless. 2 6-star Void Emperors and a 7-star Void Emperor were seriously injured. Damn it! That human is simply courting death. The few of you, follow me and kill him. An evil god tribe true emperor roared and chased after Lu Ming with a few high-level Void Emperors. Lu Ming executed the 6-feathered divine wings and turned to run. The distance of a few thousand miles was covered in the blink of an eye. Boom! In the sky, an incomparably huge turtle suppressed down. An evil god tribe true emperor and a few high-level Void Emperors were directly suppressed to death. Dandan stepped down from the sky and said, "It's just a 1-star true emperor. I don't even need to activate the formation. Lu Ming, you can't do it. Lure a few more experts over. How about this? Leave the fallen star bow to me and I'll lure them over." Dandan's eyes darted around. Without guessing, Lu Ming knew that Dandan was eyeing the fallen star bow. Chapter 2205. Lu Ming returned to a place 100 miles away from the castle. The moment he returned, he was discovered by the people of the evil god tribe. It's that human ant again. He's not dead. Damn it, those who chased after him earlier are most likely dead. Some of the evil god tribe members roared. Lu Ming stood in the air 100 miles away with a cold smile on his face. Then, he extended his middle finger and pointed downwards. This provocative action made the evil god tribe even more furious. Then, Lu Ming took out the fallen star bow and pulled the bowstring. Swoosh! A 7-colored bowstring shot towards a member of the evil god tribe. This member of the evil god tribe was a high-level true emperor. Lu Ming did not kill the Void Emperor. Killing a few more Void Emperors was useless to the overall situation. The arrow arrived in front of the high-level Void Emperor in the blink of an eye. The evil god tribe member roared angrily. A destructive light burst forth from his third eye and collided with the arrow. Boom! A dazzling light burst forth in the sky. The arrow shot by Lu Ming was destroyed. As expected, with his current cultivation, the arrow shot by him was ineffective against a true emperor, let alone a high-level true emperor. However, this action completely angered the high-level true emperor. However, Lu Ming could not be bothered. He shot a few more arrows consecutively, all aimed at the high-level true emperor. Of course, they could not hurt the other party, but they had completely angered him. Courting death. Kill this ant. In an instant, several members of the evil god tribe rushed towards Lu Ming. There were a total of 4 of them, all high-level true emperors. They were incomparably terrifying and their speed was astonishing. Lu Ming turned and ran. His 6-feathered divine wings flapped non-stop as he ran towards the place where Dandan had set up the formation. However, the evil god tribe members behind him were rapidly closing the distance between them and Lu Ming. They were all high-level true emperors. Their speed was too fast. Even if Lu Ming used his 6-feathered divine wings, it was useless. The distance between them was rapidly closing. Fortunately, it was only a distance of a few thousand miles and he could cover it in the blink of an eye. If he were any further, Lu Ming would really be caught up with. Even so, When Lu Ming arrived at the place where Dandan had set up the grand array, the other party had almost caught up to him. Lu Ming swooped down and flew along the ground. The other party followed suit and chased after Lu Ming with extreme speed. "Brat, die!" One of the members of the evil god race shot out a terrifying light from his eyes. A beam of destructive light shot towards Lu Ming. "Danger!" Lu Ming was shocked. This light of destruction was too terrifying. If he was hit by it, only death awaited him. As Lu Ming dashed forward, he turned around and drew his bow. An arrow flew towards the light of destruction, but it was destroyed by the light of destruction. The light of destruction did not stop and continued to blast towards Lu Ming. Could it be that I have to use the sword of the Celestial Emperor? A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Unless it was a last resort, Lu Ming did not want to use the energy of the Celestial Thearcha's physical body. This time, the Celestial Thearcha's physical body did not have much energy stored, only slightly more than 10%. Once he used it, it would be easy to exhaust the energy inside. Just then, the surrounding void lit up. A tortoise shell condensed and blocked the beam of light. Dong! The light of destruction struck the tortoise shell and let out a violent boom. The tortoise shell was not destroyed and blocked the light of destruction. "I've reached the grand array." Lu Ming was overjoyed. At this moment, Dandan's figure appeared in the sky. His body was filled with endless runes, communicating with heaven and earth. "Kill!" He let out a low bellow. On the ground and in space, endless runes appeared. Then, the runes condensed into many divine beasts. There were true dragons, phoenixes, cheilants, rocks, and so on. These divine beasts surrounded the 4 members of the evil god race. "Not good, we've fallen into a trap. Charge out!" One of the members of the evil god race was shocked, knowing that they had fallen into a trap. "It's too late to leave now." Dandan sneered. "Roar!" The true dragon roared and twisted its body, pouncing toward one of the members of the evil god race. At the same time, the phoenix let out a long cry, the rocks spread their wings, and the cheilants stepped on the sky. All the divine beasts pounced toward the 4 members of the evil god race. The 4 members of the evil god race erupted with all their strength, trying their best to resist the attacks. That kind of aura shocked Lu Ming. So strong. They are at least 5-star true emperors, or even 6-star true emperors. Lu Ming clicked his tongue. Back in the ancient moon's sacred ground, Lu Ming had destroyed the Golden Crow race, Wan clan, Feng clan, and so on. At that time, he had controlled his physical body and felt the power of those high-level true emperors. For example, the patriarch of the Golden Crow race, the patriarch of the Wan clan, the palace master of the Phoenix Palace, and so on. The strength of these overlords was only a so-so. However, the 4 members of the evil god race were no match for the various divine beasts. It was completely one-sided. Pooh! The arm of one of the members of the evil god race was torn off by the true dragon. Blood splattered everywhere. Next, the chest of another member of the evil god race was pierced by the phoenix's sharp claws. Next, the great rock flew over and decapitated him with its blade-like wings. The battle was one-sided. It didn't take long for the 4 members of the evil god race to be killed. Lu Ming was shocked. Dandan said that his formation could kill peak true emperors. It seemed like he wasn't just joking. 1 6-star true emperor and 3 5-star true emperors. Our harvest this time isn't bad. More than half of the enemy's peak experts are probably here. Dandan laughed. The enemy had more than 100 people, but there were only 6 or 7 high-level true emperors. 4 of them were killed in a short time. After all, it wasn't easy for a high-level true emperor to come here. As long as the enemy's high-level true emperors were eliminated, Dandan wouldn't need to fear the enemy anymore. Let's pack up and hide. The enemy will send someone to check on them after seeing that they haven't returned. Lu Ming suggested. Dandan nodded and cleaned up the corpses of the members of the evil god race. After cleaning up the scene, the 2 of them went to a valley not far away. Lu Ming took out a pile of origin stones and absorbed their energy to recover his saint power. Just now, he had been drawing his bow and shooting 7 or 8 arrows in a row. It had consumed a lot of his saint power. Not long after, Lu Ming's saint power was restored to its peak. However, no one from the evil god race came. The two of them were puzzled. Logically speaking, the evil god race should have sent someone to check on them after the powerful true emperors had left. But now, no one from the evil god race came. This was very strange. Could it be that they have broken through the gate and entered the castle? Lu Ming, let's go take a look together, Dandan said. Lu Ming nodded and the two of them flew toward the castle. But not long after, they heard intense battle cries. There was a fierce battle at the entrance of the castle. It's them. From afar, Lu Ming and Dandan saw that the ones attacking the evil god race were Blue Cloud, Yan Shi, and the others from the Heaven Realm. There were more people from the Heaven Realm, more than 200 people. Moreover, there were many more experts compared to the last time they gathered in the valley. There were even a few high-level true emperors, completely suppressing the evil god race. Damn it, these people actually took advantage of us. Dandan gritted his teeth. Chapter 2206. If they hadn't killed 4 high-level true emperors, the people from the Heaven Realm might not have been a match for the evil god tribe. But now, they had completely suppressed the other party. The people from the evil god tribe were killed one after another. The people from the evil god tribe roared, but it was useless in the end. A few high-level true emperors were also killed by the experts from the Heaven Realm. More than 100 people from the evil god tribe were all killed. Then, the experts from the Heaven Realm began to bombard the gate of the castle. Rumble. The gate of the castle kept exploding. The light that covered it flickered, but it was much dimmer than before. It seemed like it would be destroyed soon. Let's disguise ourselves and go over. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Dandan. Just what I want. Dandan nodded, a cold light flashing in his eyes. They didn't want to let others get away with it so easily, especially when Blue Cloud and Yan Shi were among them. Their appearances changed rapidly. Then, they changed their clothes and became completely different people. Then, the two of them flew toward the castle. Who's there? Someone noticed them and swept his gaze over them. We're on the same side, on the same side. Dandan hurriedly shouted. When everyone saw that they weren't from the evil god tribe, they were relieved. If they weren't from the evil god tribe, they were naturally from the Heaven Realm. Blue Cloud's gaze also swept over Lu Ming and Dandan. I thought it was Lu Ming and Dandan, but it turns out that it wasn't them. What a pity, otherwise, I would have crippled them this time. Blue Cloud muttered. This time, the Lan family had sent another expert, including high-level true emperors. He was full of confidence. As long as he met Lu Ming and Dandan, he would definitely make them regret it. At the thought of being beaten up so badly by Dandan, Blue Cloud went crazy with hatred. Blue Cloud didn't avoid it. Lu Ming and Dandan heard it clearly. Creak. Dandan gritted his teeth and rolled his eyes. Lu Ming knew that Dandan was definitely up to no good and was thinking about how to deal with Blue Cloud. Boom! Boom! At this moment, the gate of the castle began to shake violently. It's going to be blasted open. Put in more effort. Many people roared and attacked with even more vigor. Trash from the Heaven Realm, die. At this moment, a furious roar came from the distance. Streaks of purple light streaked across the sky and rushed over. They were people from the evil god race. Moreover, their numbers were extremely shocking, numbering over 100 people. They were all experts, and their bodies were covered with purple scales. Previously, Lu Ming had learned from Dandan. The evil god race also had different levels. The black-scale evil god tribe was the most ordinary evil god tribe. Their status was also the lowest, and their battle prowess was also relatively weak. As for the purple-scaled evil god tribe, they were the nobles of the evil god tribe. In a battle of the same level, their strength was far above the black-scale evil god tribe. Above the purple-scaled evil god tribe, there were the nobler evil god tribe. For example, the evil god tribe's royal family had even stronger battle prowess. They were almost invincible in a battle of the same level. However, their numbers were extremely small. The expressions of the people from the heaven realm changed. "Quick, blast open the gate!" someone roared. Almost everyone attacked. Streaks of dazzling light bombarded the gate of the castle. Boom! With a loud explosion, the light of the gate of the castle was defeated, and the gate opened. "Charge in!" The people from the heaven realm rushed in one after another. "Kill!" Behind them, the evil god tribe also charged in. They chased closely behind the experts from the heaven realm and rushed in. Lu Ming and Dandan also followed the crowd and rushed in. The moment they rushed in, they didn't see the inside of the castle as they had imagined. Instead, they saw a vast stretch of hills that stretched as far as the eye could see. This was like a small world. After the castle, they actually came to a small world. "Kill!" Behind them, the evil god tribe charged in. The two groups of people fought fiercely. Lu Ming and Dandan were mixed in the crowd. They symbolically attacked and exchanged blows with two members of the evil god tribe. Lu Ming didn't even attack. He hid behind Dandan because if he attacked, many laws would be exposed. There were hundreds of people from both sides fighting each other. It was very tragic. From time to time, there would be experts killed, forever falling in this area. Lu Ming discovered that Blue Cloud and Yen Shi were accompanied by experts. They were very strong and were high-level true emperors. Clearly, the Lan family and Yen family were terrifying forces in the heaven realm. They even sent high-level true emperors. It was very dangerous for high-level true emperors to enter here. If they were unlucky, they would die. Those who were sent in had to be prepared to die. If they weren't strong and had a deep foundation, they wouldn't dare to do so. Swoosh! Swoosh! Just as the two sides were engaged in a fierce battle, several blood-red figures rushed over from the front at an extremely fast speed. That is, Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He saw that there were humanoid and beast-like figures among those blood-colored figures. After rushing over, they directly pounced on the people from the heaven realm and the evil god tribe. Roar! A huge blood-colored wave also pounced on Lu Ming. Dandan appeared and kicked the huge blood-colored wolf away. "It's a puppet," Dandan said. At the same time, Lu Ming also saw that it was indeed a puppet. It was a strange puppet with an incomparably dense killing intent. Its entire body was blood-red and it even reeked of blood. Moreover, it didn't fear death and kept pouncing on the people from both sides. The experts from the heaven realm and the evil god tribe could only stop fighting and focus on dealing with these blood-colored puppets. Bang! 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 The blood-colored puppets exploded one after another. Not long after, the blood-colored puppets that charged over were finally mostly killed. However, the experts from the heaven realm and the evil god tribe also left behind dozens of corpses. Both sides gathered at one side and sized each other up. Their killing intent was cold. However, no one made a move for the time being. This was very likely a small world left behind by an unparalleled expert. There might be a great fortuitous encounter in it. The people from both sides had the same idea. They would search for the treasure first and obtain the fortuitous encounter. Then, they would kill the other party. Let's go. The first to move was the evil god tribe. They charged forward along the left side and disappeared among the hills. Then, the people from the heaven realm also moved. They charged forward along the right side. Lu Ming and Dandan followed in the middle of the crowd. Roar! Roar! Roars rang out from time to time. Some blood-colored puppets moved between these hills. The moment they saw living beings, they would pounce on them. However, they were all defeated by them. After advancing for a distance, they still didn't discover anything. Let's move forward separately. This way, our chances of obtaining fortuitous encounters will be higher. Blue Cloud was the first to speak. The others also nodded in agreement. Then, the people from the heaven realm split into groups and moved forward separately. Blue Cloud and Yen Shi led the experts from the Lan family and the Yen family to gather together and move in one direction. Both of their families had experts. There were high-level true emperors and low-level true emperors. They were very confident and didn't want to be with others. Let's follow them. Dandan whispered, "You're tuning into the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure."